천자문,
千字文、
千字文.
In this lesson, we will look at characters 377 through 384 of the 1,000 character classic, the 1,500-year-old Chinese classic in which no characters are repeated. Be moderate, just, honest, and acquiescent.
절이렴퇴,
節義連帯、
节义廉退.
Be steadfast, vigorous, and without deficiency.
전패비휴,
天敗引き、
田配匪亏.
Let's look at line 95, character by character. The first character here means joint, or circumstances. The next means justice. The third character means honesty. The last one here means withdraw or recede. The translation reads, be moderate, just, honest, and acquiescent. Now let's hear it pronounced. You'll hear it from a recording in Korean, Japanese, and Chinese.
절이렴퇴,
節義連帯、
节义廉退.
Here's line 96. The first character here means peak or topple. Next we have abundant or swift. The third character means never. The final one means confuse or wave. The translation reads, be steadfast, vigorous, and without deficiency. Now let's hear it pronounced.
전패비휴,
天敗引き、
田配匪亏.
Let's look at a few radicals or components. First, have a look at 378. It means justice, and if you look at the radical components, there's a sheep on top and a spear on the bottom. This character goes back to ancient times when characters were written not on paper, but rather oracle bones, and this refers to the sacrificial slaughter of sheep, which could have been part of a justice ritual. Then look at 379. I have difficulty remembering how to write this character. As a reminder, the 686th character has one of the same components, so hopefully if I remember it in one instance, I'll remember it in the other instance. Character 380 looks much the same as character 168. It includes the addition of the road radical, and note that it doesn't have the drop on the top. Character 382 is a rare character. Note that it is the same as the character for city or market, with the addition of the water radical on the left. Character 383 features the right open box radical. The only other character of the classic indexed with this radical is the 547th one. Notice the inside component of 383 is the 235th character, which itself can be a radical. Character 384 has the tiger radical on the left, which you'll see in these other characters of the classic. Based on the 8 characters of these 2 lines, I've come up with a word list. I've tried to select words that are common and relevant to Japanese, Korean, and Chinese. Now you'll hear the words spoken in each language. Save, economize.
절약,
節約、
节约.
Moderation, temperance.
절제,
節制、
节制.
Duty, obligation.
의무,
義務、
义务.
Sense of shame, honor.
염치,
廉恥、
廉耻.
Upright, integrity.
연결,
連結、
廉洁.
Decline, decay.
쇠퇴,
衰退、
衰退.
Capsize, topple.
전도,
転倒、
颠倒.
Have a look one more time at the words of this lesson. See which ones you remember. Okay, let's move on. To wrap up this lesson, I'll give each character a rating of from 1 to 5. So this one gets a 4. Wiktionary lists 18 definitions for this character. It gets used within the names of holidays or seasonal occasions, body parts related to joints, such as knuckles, and items of a moral nature, like moderation, fidelity, and frugality. This one gets a 5. I already mentioned this is part of the word for justice, and as such, it is one of the key concepts of Confucianism, otherwise known as Ruism. This character appears in the important Japanese cultural concept of kiri, a word that gets translated as duty or obligation in English. In fact, an English language Wikipedia page exists for this topic. This one gets a 3. You won't see this character in any frequently appearing words. It's still one you're expected to know. It seems to widely appear in Japanese and Chinese names. This one gets a 4. I'm not sure how it gets used in Chinese, but I encounter this all the time in Japanese and Korean. It is part of words that mean retire, go home from work, or get out of the hospital or school. This one is a 2. It gets used in words that mean fall over or in something being overturned, such as a government or a capsized boat. But these example words aren't consistently used across all 3 of these languages, and overall they're not frequent words. This gets a 2. It's not used in modern times in any frequent vocabulary, as far as I know, but it is a place name in China called Pei Country, and that's a place that exists today. And since ancient times, it has been famous as the hometown of the first Han Dynasty emperor. This one gets a 1. It appears in ancient writing and gets used in a similar way to this character here, which is obviously the same but without the outside box. This gets a 1. This character is not used at all in Japanese or Korean. It is part of an archaic phrase for waxing and waning of the moon. It has been simplified in modern Chinese to this character. This simplified character does appear in some fairly frequent upper-level Chinese vocabulary. So that's a wrap for this lesson. In the next lesson, we'll look at lines 97 and 98, which speak to matters of the heart and emotions.
천자문,
千字文千字文
As always, I remind you that I make these videos partly for my own study purposes. My skills are not advanced in these languages, so it's quite likely I've made some mistakes or forgotten something obvious. So if you do notice something or have a question, let me know in the comments. The goal of this channel is to make a video for each line of the 1000 character classic while using this classic as a lens to explore language study methods and connections between the Chinese, Japanese, and Korean languages. I wish you happy and productive language studies.